Good morning, Illini. Welcome back to Healthy Illini Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Schrock, and the semester is in full swing. Students are back on campus, and we're excited to see the energy. We're excited to see them here, but there are some topics we need to talk about and some matters that we want to discuss on the program, and so that's one of the ones we're going to have today. I am joined by two guests today. They are both with the University of Illinois Police Department. First up is Jim Scheel. He is a detective sergeant with the department. Jim, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And I'm also joined by Valerie Marcotte. She's an officer with the department and also part of the Community Outreach and Support Team, or COAST. And so, Valerie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you both have years of policing between you.
Yep.
Combined, you have a lot of experience, and you have a lot of experience in a variety of units and a variety of focuses. So there's a lot of things you can speak to. But today, we're really looking at one particular program, and that revolves around personal safety.
Right.
It's always a good thing to talk. It's always a good time to talk with personal safety, but with students back on campus and new students on campus, especially that freshman dynamic, that's first time away from home and out there, it really is an important discussion to have. And like I said, you have a lot of experience and there's a lot of areas that we can touch on. But today I want to focus on the RAD program, and RAD stands for Rape, Aggression, Defense. And this is a program that you offer through UIPD. And so first, let's just start off. Can you give me an overview of what the program is, and then we'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of the ideas involved. But what is RAD?
So, like you just said, it's a rape, aggression, defense. It's a personal defense safety course. We've been teaching at the University Police Department for, I'm guessing, 20 years. I've been part of it for 12. And what it does is gives women options. So if they so to choose them, that they're viable in times that they may need them. We do a lot of lecture, which is a little bit of a turnoff, but I'll talk about the importance of that later. And then we go through some statistics. We talk about sexual assault, the occurrence, and all the aftermath. I think Valerie would be a good person for that, being on the Special Victims Unit. And then we get into some physical stuff. So with any self-defense course, we do teach the physical defense part. And after all that, I will put on a RAD suit. It looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And then you get to use all the techniques that we taught in 4 different scenarios. So it's a great course. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for 12. Don't plan on giving it up anytime soon.
Yeah, it's really important. So the situational awareness, the PowerPoint portion that kind of feels not as exciting as the hands-on stuff, but that's actually the stuff that's going to keep them safe, right? Because we know that our voice is one of our best personal weapons, and if we're aware of our surroundings, we have less chance of falling into, a freeze mindset if we are attacked. But yeah, Jim putting on that suit is a feat because he is a sweaty mess at the end. It is a lot, but it gives the people who take the class, it gives them a moment of clarity, and we do film them, and then we all watch them together at the end, and they can see a lot of times they don't remember the moves they were doing, they don't remember screaming or freezing, sometimes they fall backwards a little bit and stumble, but it's a great moment to come together and celebrate the accomplishment of going through something that induced that much stress, in a controlled environment. So
yeah, it's amazing
awesome
watching the videos with them. I mean, like I said, we empower the women in this class, and just the confidence from the beginning to the end. It's usually about a 12-hour course, and a group of girls or women, 12 hours working together, and then all of them watching this video together.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring, and for them, just shows how much confidence they've built throughout.
Well, and I like that you've shared about the aspect that's not just the physical, because oftentimes when you hear about personal protection or personal safety and in a course, you think the physical, the wrestling, judo, whatever you want to talk about, those moves, and that's a part of it.
Correct.
But there's a whole part of it that's before that you hope you can employ before you get to that point.
Right.
And that's where you talk about the empowerment and the confidence that comes
Absolutely.
from that.
And we've tailored many different courses. We've had it down to 1 hour, which I don't think is long enough, to 3 hours, I would say minimum. But even that 1 hour course, if we're going to teach self-defense, teach them different techniques, I refuse to teach without talking about, the situational awareness, just being mindful of what's going on around you. I personally believe that is the most important part about self-defense. Trying to avoid the fight, trying to avoid the confrontation, just out and about safety. As ridiculous as it sounds, I just think that's by far the most important part of self-defense, because you're not taken off guard.
And one of the things you both put in the prep that I really liked is kind of like a main idea in my mind is that you are responsible for your safety.
Absolutely,
and this is what this is, and that empowerment is you are taking that responsibility,
right.
and you're taking the steps to have the tools in your tool belt to be safe.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a huge thing. So as we're talking about it, you've mentioned it a couple of times, is situational awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a term that is thrown around a lot that I think everybody has heard, but if you ask them what is situational awareness, to be like, you know what I mean? Like everybody knows the term, but they don't necessarily know what it goes into without going through your whole spiel, because you got a training. And if you want to know more about that training, contact the police department. But if you could just give me some basic ideas of what you mean by situational awareness, or the things that you kind of touch on.
Like I said, we've all heard the term. We've heard it, but do we know what it means? And I usually open up by, we've all done it. I'm definitely a victim of this as well. I've driven home, hour drive. I get home, like I don't remember a single second of my drive. I don't remember the stoplight. Maybe I didn't stop at the stop sign. I don't know. I don't remember it. Maybe I'm walking to the store. I get to the store. I don't remember what route I took. I don't know who I passed. I don't know how many people passed me. I don't know who's watching me. I have no observations the entire time. I'm just in my own little world, spaced out. And we all get there. And so that's how I approach it. Like, that is situational awareness. Have you ever been in that spot where you've made it from point A to point B, or you're just completely zoned out, somebody's talking to you, you have no idea? And once they realize, yes, we've done that, I've done that, maybe try to, next time you walk home, pay attention to a car. How many cars passed you? How many people passed you? Was the store open? Was the store closed? How many people were in the store? Just different things like that. And I think once we start talking about that, people realize, oh, it's a lot easier than I think. I don't have to be paranoid. I don't have to be afraid. Just be aware of my surroundings.
So they've studied this. They've asked like repeat offenders what they look for when they're picking out victims. And 86% of how we communicate is through our body language. So a lot of offenders are looking for shortened gaits. So when you're walking, you're kind of unsure of your steps. Busy hands, so someone digging through their bag, someone with noise-canceling headphones, someone on their phone, but maybe their phone isn't up in their peripheral space, it's down and they're looking down, and then hunched over shoulders tell a lot. So that signifies to the potential attacker that person is not confident and that they're not paying attention, which makes that perfect. And they've proven that if someone at least makes eye contact in square posture with a potential attacker, their chance of being attacked goes down drastically. So in our class, we talk a lot about when we go to a grocery store before we get out of our car. Do we gather all of our things together? Do we scan the parking lot? When we're walking from our car to the store, we're not messing with our bag. We're not on our phone. That can wait till we're inside. And especially on campus, when you have the noise-canceling headphones and you're really not... How many times does someone walk out in front of a car? They just have no idea. Or we're running code to something and we're on our air horns, lights and sirens going, and people don't even know we're passing them because they're just in their own world. So it's just about bringing that to the forefront of their mind. And like Jim said perfectly, like, you don't have to live in the anticipation of it. You just have to know that you have checked those boxes, and then you can move confidently throughout it.
Well, and I like that, Jim, you mentioned that, on your drive home sometimes,
right.
I'm the same way, right? But if I drive to visit my brother in Iowa, I don't do that because I don't know where I'm at. I'm trying to figure it out. But my drive home, I've done it 1,000 times.
Correct.
And so now college is routine.
Yes.
College is about routine. After the first few weeks, you have your days down, you have your path down, you have all this, and that's when it's really easy to just kind of get lost.
Right.
And so that's where this is so important, because you're instilling in them, in students, pay attention. Even on the things you think you're familiar and you're fine, pay attention.
Have you ever almost gotten in a fender bender or missed your turn and you turn your music down? And you're like, oh, crap, I got to pay attention.
Guilty.
It's what we do, right? And so we get on that autopilot. It's about breaking that cycle. The big thing with the women, though, is so many women, they have it in them to do that. They just weren't raised that way. And so that they just don't know that they have that. A lot of them are like, I could never fend off an attacker. I could never do this. And when they all come, it's so amazing, because the first night we'll tell them to say no. And they'll go, no. And then at the end of the class, they're like, no! Like, it's such a 180 from the beginning to the end, because they just are so excited to have that confidence and not have to be in the mindset of, I'm scared to go for a run in the evening. I'm scared to walk from the bar to my, apartment, all those things. So it's really just about empowering them. That's really the only reason we do this. We got really tired of, so with victims, we do what's called a safety plan afterwards. So that means we talk about, if you see your attacker out, what are options for you? If you have a panic attack, how do you get out of that? How do we work through that trauma while you're in counseling? Because that's something that stays with you forever. It will never leave you. And so we got really tired of doing them after someone was attacked. So him and I both, we don't want to continue giving people all these tools after it happens. We really want to be preemptive. And because we're a college campus, statistically shown, most assaults occur between August and October, mostly on the weekends. So getting students informed early on in their education career is really vital for us. But we do offer it all semester long.
And one of the points that you brought up, it's hard to swallow that you're responsible for your own safety. I have 2 children. They're 12 and 15 now. Since they were 2 and 3, I've taught them this. You're responsible for your own safety. And it wasn't because of RAD. I can't be with them all the time. If they're going to the bathroom, like at school, they're generally by themselves. So it's something really hard to take in. But for me, I'm going to raise my kids to be the best kids that they can, best adults that they can. But at a certain point, I have to let go. So ultimately, they're going to be responsible for that safety, and I've been pushing that on them ever since they're little. Not saying it hasn't caused issues with mom, because mom's going to I will never let anything happen to you, but mom's not always going to be there, and then they're going to grow up, and then they can't rely on somebody all the time. So I think it's really empowering. The other thing, like Valerie was talking about, the intuition. We all have intuition. Men, not quite as good. Women's intuition, definitely a lot better. And being a male, it's a lot harder for me to convince women. I just finished the book, The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker, one of the best books I've ever read. I told my daughter I'd pay her $10 a chapter to read it. She's not big into reading, but it's that powerful. I think I'm going to give it a year and read it again. There's just so much to take from it. But just, your gut feeling. Most people find an excuse or a logical reason why they feel that way. But in this book, one of the first chapters, they talk about many of the case studies where the women felt something was wrong, and then they brushed it off. Something more was wrong. They brushed it off. Something more was wrong. They brushed it off. They just continue to validate what's going on. There's a logical reason for this instead of listening to their instincts. So men have it, not quite as good as women, but that's something that's very important that we continue to try to stress on people.
And that's important, when you're talking about your personal safety, that it is your instinct, it's your intuition,
right.
And it's inside of you. And so it's important to trust that and important to take that step. And like you said in some other things in some of the prep, that avoiding confrontation is the best self-defense.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just, I don't feel right about the situation, so I'm going to remove myself from the
Correct.
situation. And whether it was right or wrong, it puts you in a safer position.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to follow that intuition.
And we push the students too. There are still good people in this world. There are still people that want to help you. Your car breaks down on the side of the road. There's going to be people that want to help you, flat tire people that want to help, but you don't have to accept that help. If you got AAA on the way, you got your parents on the way, you've got help on the way, or maybe you don't have help on the way, you're about ready to call 911. You don't have to accept that, help from strangers. So it's okay to be mean. It's okay to say no. It's okay to empower yourself and, take control of that situation. Even if your intuition says, I think I can handle this, I don't want anybody to help me, listen to that. So I think that's very powerful.
One thing, and this may be a deep dive, I don't know. One thing that I believe it was Valerie, I think you put it on your prep work. You just made a statement that said never underestimate interrupting the OODA loop.
OODA loop.
OODA, OODA
Yes,
loop. And
OODA
I have
loop.
no idea what that means. So I want to find out. So what did you mean by that?
So the OODA loop, the OODA loop is a concept of how our brain functions in a cycle. So or observe, orient, decide, and act. So if someone is, say I wanted to throw a water bottle at Jim, and I needed to buy myself some time, right? Maybe he's coming towards me in an aggressive manner. His fists are balled. He's making verbal statements. He's going to hurt me. If all I had was this piece of paper, even just flinging it off the table towards him, his brain has to observe that that paper is coming towards him. It has to orient that the paper is coming towards him. He has to decide if he's going to block it or let it hit him. And then he has to put that plan into action. That is how all of us are wired. So when I say never underestimate it, if someone is, coming towards you like that, or maybe you're in a domestic violence situation and you think you don't have anything around you, it could be something as simple as your cell phone or your keys. All you have to do is throw it towards that person or do something to distract them. It doesn't have to hurt them, but even a Kleenex box, their brain has to, by how we're wired, it has to decide how to handle that object coming towards them, and that will always buy you time. And that's why it's so important to understand a lot of what we teach is, the hands-on stuff is great, but a lot of what we teach is the psychology about what's happening to you during adrenaline dumps, how to get out of that, and then what your attacker is going through as well. Because that, like we said, the situational awareness, that's really what empowers the person to get out of those situations so they can disengage and run or leave and not have to go into the confrontation themselves.
So, okay. So I just learned something just now. And for me, that's exciting, right? But that actually makes a really great segue because I did not know that before. And now I do, and that's something I can use, and that's something very simple. Yeah. And that's something that you will teach in this training. Right. So let's talk more about what the training actually is. Like if somebody's listening, like, I just learned something too, and now I'm curious about learning more. Yeah. But what does this mean by the training? Like, what does a typical training look like? I know you have different lengths you can do, but let's just say the typical, standard training.
So our typical standard is 12 hours. It seems like a lot of time, but once you get in, it's really not. Our first day, like I said, I won't teach any class without PowerPoint discussion.
But when you say 12 hours, you said first day, so it's not 12
3 hours.
Straight hours.
No.
Okay, all right.
First day, 3 hours.
Okay.
We do some paperwork, of course. Anything you do, you got to do your paperwork. Sign in, rosters, all that. And then we'll start with introductions. Then we'll do PowerPoint. And again, it's just situational awareness, out and about safety, some statistics, and some of the stuff we're talking about today. We talk about in that first 3 hour class. And then, like Valerie said, we try to get that last half an hour, start doing some stances and talking about our personal weapons, and one of our personal weapons is our voice. Just strong posture and saying no to somebody may be all it takes. Then we'll have our next day, we'll finish up our PowerPoint, maybe an hour, and then we get into the physical. After that, every 3 hour class is just pure physical. We start teaching some different techniques, some ground stuff, some standing stuff, and then the last day is where we finish everything up, and then that's where we do the scenarios where the students can put on their boxing gloves and then practice all the skills that we taught them. It flows really well. That's why I like the 12-hour course. We do a 3-hour course. We try to condense it. It's just not enough time,
but something's better than nothing. So if a group of students wants it and they can only give us that, then we'll take it.
I think even listening to this podcast is better than nothing because now they've got different options.
And they know about the OODA loop.
Right.
So,
so is there a set, like we do it every, the first week of the month, or we do it every week and like certain days that you have it, or is it based on who signs up?
Generally what we try to do is pick one day of the week in a 3-hour block. So every Wednesday, 4 consecutive Wednesdays for this 3-hour block. We try to do in the afternoon because this isn't just for students. We've done younger women as well. We've done classes, mother-daughter.
We had a couple senior gals in our class this last round, which was really awesome.
It was very fun, diverse class.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was really fun.
So we try to do it in the mid-afternoon so we can get everybody that wants to attend.
So the nice thing about this program is it was built in 1989. So it is an international program. And the great thing about it is how he would strike an attacker, right, with a closed fist is very different from how I would, because I'm a female. I carry most of my power comes from my lower body. Most of his power comes from his upper body. So it is designed to teach women how to have a good balance, a good stance. We teach them elbow strikes, and we teach them how to block strikes, and then we teach them how to do some simple kicks, and the ground stuff is really empowering too, because a lot of women don't think they could get a man off of them. But once they learn the body mechanics, it's so easy. And they're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. So they always like when we're tossing each other around because he's so much bigger than I am. So they get a good kick out of it. And then they want to try
100 pounds
it.
on you, and you throw me around, no problem.
Well, that was actually a question I was going to ask is if somebody's listening, they go, you know what? I'm just not that big.
Sure.
I'm tiny. Or if somebody has maybe a physical disability or something like that, like these classes are still for them.
Absolutely.
So that's something, I met a fantastic gal last month, and she is wheelchair bound, and we're going to grab coffee in a couple weeks, and we're going to talk about focusing more on her student population, because it really depends on their ailments, but they are very encouraged to sign up for these classes. There are additional certifications that we have that enable us to give them a little different variations in the class. So I definitely encourage anyone, whatever their ailment is, to attend it, because everyone deserves to stay safe, not just healthy young women that can move their body around.
And we're very big on, too, it's up to the participants to participate.
Yeah.
We never push anybody to do it. Now, when the mother-daughter was there, of course, the mother pushed her daughter to do every technique. But we've done it close to finals, and I've had students sitting in the corner doing their finals, just watching as we're doing all the physical techniques. We've had some that just want to watch a couple times before they jump in. Absolutely fine. So we're not just going to jump in and you're going to start, sparring or boxing. We do like very simple stuff, like just, standing techniques, balancing techniques, using your voice, different weapons like that you may carry on you, like your hands, your knees, your elbows. And then we go through the different strikes. As they get comfortable with that, then we'll bring out pads. And then we've also got Bob, which is, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a human, but it's just a pad. It looks like a human. And if they don't want to strike a pad, they don't want to punch anything else, they can punch that. They can knee that. So we tailor to how comfortable they feel at that time. We never push anybody to do anything that they don't want to. Again, these are their options, their choices.
And it has to be that way because everyone carries some sort of trauma, right? And so we are very aware that there may be survivors in our class, and who knows if by the time we get to scenarios, they're waiting for him and he's going to come grab them, and they know it's happening, but it's a very real feeling. And so we keep their like a victim-informed trauma response mindset when we're teaching them. And if any of them need to step out or if they need to just observe from afar, we would never shame someone for how their body is responding to those situations, because you really don't know until you know. But even just being there is better than not being there.
So the next question is, how do you get there? You talked about signing up for the class. How do you? What's the process? Is it website? Is it calling? How does somebody sign up for one of these classes?
Our website, we're actually redesigning it again, making it a lot better. It's police.illinois.edu, mm-hmm. and that the community outreach and support team page has a one-stop shop for different presentations, including RAD that you may want. Like we talked about at the beginning, if the sorority's having an event and they want to host the class, we've had RAs that wanted to host the class. We go to the residence hall and do it there. Done it at the YMCA. So if there's a place that you want to do it, we can come to you. If that doesn't work, we have scheduled classes on the webpage. I believe we're getting put up shortly.
Yeah,
they should be up by now, yes.
The goal right now, the goal is 2 separate classes a semester, but we would love, it really just depends on the numbers. So Jim, as you can tell, is super devoted to the program, and I'm as well. So we would love to put as many classes as we possibly could. And that's why the teasers are nice too, because if people don't have the time to devote several weeks to that program, then it's better than nothing. But the website is the best way to sign up.
Yeah, we just had a fun teaser at the ARC.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot. It was like 8 people.
Yeah.
It was only like 8 people, but it was the best time. And they left there just feeling like they were all just glowing. Like they were very excited. And that's the coolest part.
Fun thing about that, some of the smaller ones is we let them drive it.
Yeah.
What are your concerns? What's
a scenario that scares you?
And then we let them drive and we work through different things. So we're not the ones just instructing it. We're empowering them to come up with different ideas, because this isn't the only program. This isn't the program. This is a program, just like any other martial art, just like anything else that anybody does. So that's what I really like about when we get the smaller groups, is we can let them drive what they want to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people are always like, I wanna take jujitsu now. Where can I go? So they do get really into it. And I think it's just a lot of women aren't raised in contact sports. They're not like, we're seeing more female wrestlers nowadays, but like I know when I grew up, I didn't know a single female wrestler. Like if you took karate, you were really awesome. So it's really cool to watch these girls find a sport that they could really get into and that they realize they can do. And that's just really what it's all about.
Well, we're almost out of time. I could sit here and talk to you. I have so many more questions I could ask. But I really appreciate you taking the time to share about this today. And hopefully this is an opportunity for people to visit the website to see this program and other programs you do, because there's a whole lot more. And, the biggest thing that I'm hoping this is that there are some students that for a lot of people, they think call the police department after something has happened.
Right.
But you do a lot of preventative and
Correct.
a lot of instruction and education before there's
Absolutely.
a need. Hopefully there isn't a need, but just before. And so I really hope listeners take a chance to look it up and see all the things that you offer and take advantage of it while they're here, and just have all the tools in their tool belt to be safe. But Jim, Valerie, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in today and talking with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
There are a lot of opportunities to learn things on campus as a student in all kinds of areas, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom, and things that improve your mind and your body and all sorts of aspects. But, taking care of your own protection, taking care of your own safety is a big part of that. And so if you're listening today and you learn something new or you have questions, please reach out to UIPD. Go to the website, which is in our bio. It's right there. You can click on it and check it out. Take a class, take a RAD class, because it can only empower you, can only help you. And if you have questions, reach out to them. If you have questions, you can reach out to us here at Healthy Illini. We would love to direct you towards them or answer any questions. But we just want to be a part of your journey. We want to be a part of you being as safe as you possibly can on this campus. But thank you for joining us today. You're on a personal journey no matter where you are in it. You are important and you matter. Your health and wellness are important and matter, and we're here to keep you well to excel. So go have a great week, Illini. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll catch you next time on Healthy Illini.